This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine. I won't let anybody blow it out. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, I won't let anybody blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. I won't let anybody blow it out. Oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, yeah.
I mean, I like to imagine the GOP nomination process as a bunch of candidates coming before the Shark Tank of like the Koch brothers and others and like pitching themselves, and whoever can do the most outrageous bit gets.
You know, in a lot of ways, that's really true.
Hello and welcome to the Moonshine Jesus Show. You were just listening to our good friend David Wimbish. David Wimbish of the Collection Band, and if you haven't checked out their music, please go online and do so. You can find their music and links to all of our music and contributors at our website, moonshinejesus.podbean.com. As always, we are joined by the great and the wonderful and the mighty Oz. I mean, Mark Sandlin, the man behind the curtain of the Moonshine Jesus Show.
I am surviving. I think I'm being a little oversold, but I'm surviving.
I think I must have had more coffee than you.
I think you have, although we're both, as we're talking, trying to monitor the other person so we can get some coffee up to our lips when they're talking.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So if you haven't guessed, we are recording in the morning. This is the last week before my kids go back to school, so they're out having a water balloon fight. So
perfect.
You know, they come in like in tears in a minute. So, we'll just make that part of the show, you know?
That will be perfect. Yeah, I've got no problem with that.
Oh, man. All right, well, so it's been a while since we let everybody know that we do have T-shirts available. We do have bumper stickers available and decals for your computers available. All that stuff is available.
Hey, and we're getting ready to come into fall, so don't forget to mention those amazing hoodies, man.
That's right. That's right. Fall is just around the corner, and I can think of nothing better than going around the Blue Ridge Parkway looking at the fall foliage in the Appalachian Mountains and wearing a Moonshine Jesus shirt. Like it's culturally appropriate.
It is. Where can they get that stuff?
moonshinejesus.getstuck.com. Go online there and click on there. I mean, seriously, they're the most comfortable shirts and most comfortable sweatshirts you'll find.
Yeah, genuinely, those sweatshirts. I don't wear sweatshirts, and I don't want to take it off when I put it on. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, and I'm seriously, we're not trying to oversell these things. I just want to share. I mean, just go buy one of the sweatshirts without our logo on it, and you'll be thankful for it.
Perfect.
Anyway, okay, so, we're getting back to reality now. You know what I mean? Like, summer's over, kids are going back to school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fall TV shows are coming out, and, we're coming back down to everyday reality. And so it got me to thinking, Mark, about something we should probably talk about, a burning pop cultural issue that we have yet to address.
Okay.
And that's reality television.
Oh, okay. Oh, wonderful.
It's the real world, man. I mean, that's where it all started. It all started with the real world about
right.
MTV. What was that, 10, 20 years? Has it been 20 years since the real world?
At least 20 years, man.
Oh, my gosh. Even I feel old.
Good. It's about time. It's about time.
Okay, all right. Here, pop quiz. Can you remember any of the original cast members from Real World?
Oh, God. I mean, I remember a couple of the storylines. but I'm not sure.
Was
Puck.
That's
Puck.
the only guy I remember.
Puck. Yeah, that was when he chased her out to the cab. You remember that?
No, I couldn't watch it.
He chased one of the roommates out to the cab and like.
I was too young to be allowed to watch that show.
Oh, thanks. I thought that you were having kind of this old guy moment together, and then you just turn it on me. Talk about reality.
Okay, so reality television basically snowballed since then. Now
it's gone nuts.
All TV shows coming out, and there's a lot of reality TV shows and
Yeah.
a lot of really popular reality TV shows.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most of the top shows on TV now are reality shows, which is pretty funny that we keep calling them reality shows.
Because they're anything but, right?
It's the ultimate of calling something that it's not, so that people will buy into it, kind of thing.
It's like calling the Patriot Act.
Exactly. It's almost like the wordsmiths from the GOP have created these titles. I don't get it.
I mean, I get the attraction of it though. I mean, because it's cheap, low overhead.
And America loves voyeurism, or at least thinking that they're practicing voyeurism.
Absolutely. Okay, so I guess what was some of the early mainstream reality television shows? Yeah, like Big Brother.
Yeah.
And American Idol.
Yep.
Yeah, those were two big ones.
Did you watch technically Survivor?
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten about Survivor.
Those were kind of the big three for a long time.
That's right. I did not watch Survivor, did not watch Big Brother, but I did watch American Idol.
Yeah, I watched the first season of Big Brother, but I've watched the other two pretty much. Well, Survivor I don't watch anymore, but I watched many seasons.
I find it awfully hilarious. I mean, absolutely awful and hilarious.
Yeah.
The early leading reality TV shows was based on an Orwellian concept.
That's true. Very, very true. Wonder what that says about us.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now you've got The Amazing Race. I mean, some of these are actually pretty fun. We shouldn't diss on it. One of my guilty pleasures is The Voice.
Oh yeah, I love The Voice.
I mean, I really love The Voice.
My guilty pleasure during the summers is America's Got Talent.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just I love watching it. And it's a stupid show.
And maybe it's because I used to be a youth minister. I do occasionally watch clips from Wipeout. My comedy level sometimes is really low, and I just need some slapstick. Right. That's all.
So I mean, though, what does it say about us, other than we like this false voyeurism kind of thing? What does it say about society and culture in general that not just that some of them are successful, but that most of what are successful shows are this, and they.
I think it says a lot about how much we want celebrity and how much we are desirous of celebrity and to be famous. I mean, to me, that's the allure of reality TV shows, is because you don't have to have any special talents, really. I mean, America's Got Talent, the talent shows, yes, but on something like The Real World or on something like Big Brother, you don't have to have skills.
You can sit there and think
dramatic.
You can honestly
engage in conflict.
You can honestly think that could be me.
Exactly. And I think we desperately want to be famous in our society, and I think our reality television show feeds into that, and to a certain extent, social media does too.
So
I think reality television really, really wants us to believe that we can be famous. And that we are so important that we could just be on there, and it allows us to get into other people's drama. It's like essentially getting to watch gossip, especially something like Big Brother or even Survivor. Those shows. It's like you get to watch gossip, or The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. You're watching people's relationship gossip and drama. And I mean, isn't that what we all love, right?
I mean, I think a lot of people do, but you know what? I want to go back to the earlier point of you saying we all want to be famous. What's going on that our lives aren't satisfying, and that we think that being famous would somehow make it better? What do you think's going on in each of us that puts us in a place that somehow real life isn't good, reality life must be better, reality television life?
Yeah, absolutely. Think about where a lot of our country lives right now. We've got the evisceration of the middle class. We've got an ascendant lower class who are constantly don't have economic opportunities. You watch a show like Big Brother, you watch a show like The Real World, you watch one of these live-in reality TV shows, whether it's Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and you see opulence and you see wealth, and you're able to imagine yourself in those situations. I mean,
so what you're saying is it's a system of false hope.
Absolutely, it's a system of false hope.
So what you're also saying is that this plays into the GOP's hands.
Absolutely. I mean, perhaps because you do have a GOP candidate who runs a reality TV show, or did.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it,
which was based on getting ahead and becoming rich and becoming famous,
having a lot of power. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, you could even make a comparison to that to the Shark Tank.
True. Yeah. So,
I mean, I like to imagine the GOP nomination process as a bunch of candidates coming before the Shark Tank of like the Koch brothers and others, and like pitching themselves, and whoever can do the most outrageous bid gets it.
In a lot of ways, that's really true. Which I wonder. I mean, this is just hitting me as you're talking about that. Are the two feeding each other? Is reality television feeding the way that because getting nominated has a lot to do with being a political celebrity and being on television and being on talk shows and having people pay attention to you. And the more outrageous you are, the more likely that's going to happen. And the more outrageous you are, the more reflection it is of false reality television.
I think that's absolutely brilliant, absolutely accurate, because your news shows today are essentially reality television. Like when you have your talking head shows like the Mike Huckabee show or whatever he calls himself.
Yeah.
Show, like that is reality television show or Miss Reality television show. I mean, the same can be said for somebody like Glenn Beck. What you watched was Glenn Beck, and you got this weird sense of reality from it. But the Crossfire and the debate shows are all essentially reality television show. You're selling conflict. You're selling drama. You're selling kind of this false sense of security about knowing exactly what's going on and being able to be angry and inflated about it. Yes, absolutely. I think being a celebrity and I think that's one of the reasons why Hillary is doing so well right now and so much better than Bernie Sanders, because she's
not doing so much better than Bernie anymore.
Well, there was a poll that just came out, but I mean, she's still,
she's still ahead
20 points ahead of Bernie. And that's because she's a celebrity and it has that name recognition and has been out in front in so many ways. And she's known not necessarily for her policy initiatives, which are good.
A lot of them. I have some differences, but in general, they're very good.
But she's had a successful political career. But what you know her for is more from the gossip, the tabloids, the celebrity aspect of her political career. Unfortunately,
because she may be one of the most qualified people to ever run for president.
Absolutely. And I think that says something about A, how we view women, and B, how we view politicians. And what we're interested in is the drama, not the substance.
No, I absolutely agree. And I think that all, in some ways, now it may be that it's hard to say, what came first, the chicken or the egg, which one's influencing the other the most. And you can even put our society into it. Is it all just answering society's needs, or is it being pushed on society and kind of putting our voyeuristic and it could be me needs on steroids and pumping them up overpronounced from what they would have been?
I follow Neil Postman on this. I think we're amusing ourselves to death. Yeah. I think we just want to be entertained, and I think our politics have become more about entertainment than anything else.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. It's probably true, and that's where you do get this on the particularly on the GOP side, these crazy, outlandish, over-the-top ideas, including things as dumb as like putting up videos of themselves smashing their phone, or just ridiculous. Like, what politician would, for possible presidential nominee in the past, would have ever done crazy crap? And so now
George Washington is like, watch me smash my wooden teeth.
Right. But so you get crazy crap like that, which is fine when it's just smashing a phone. You can kind of roll your eyes. But, and this is probably something we should talk about in the next segment, we're starting to get absolutely bonkers ideas coming out of this because they're trying to be so extreme.
And people taking them seriously.
Yeah.
Like that. We've been so shaped, I think, by things like reality television and kind of the outrage factory that happens on stuff like Fox News, that when something so outrageous comes down the pike from a Republican candidate, people go, well, okay, that sounds reasonable.
Well, the most recent one, and this is great because it wraps the whole thing together. Donald Trump is now talking about that he doesn't think the 14th Amendment could stand up in court.
If you can't see me,
if
right
you can't
now,
see
just
the face,
my face,
if you can't see the
and frustration,
the face palm that David just.
Yeah, it makes you think whether or not the 14th Amendment could have ever happened in this political climate or any of the major pieces of legislation.
Yeah. And you actually wrote this brilliant piece about that the Bill of Rights probably could not have ever happened in today's climate. And you nailed it. That was just right on the money.
And see, Donald Trump, being the prophet that he is, has made my blog post seem prescient and wisdom. But let's talk about my wisdom on the other side.
Moonshine Jesus, nobody in the sky. Moonshine Jesus, baby, alright. Moonshine Jesus, a surprising delight. Moonshine Jesus, won't you shine a light?
Hello, and welcome back to round 2 of the Moonshine Jesus Show. So, hey, look, David, in the first part, we're talking about reality television.
Go ahead. I feel like we need a timeout. I just want to say for the record, I'm going to be really sad if Donald Trump doesn't get the nomination because he provides such great fodder to talk about. Okay, now that that's out in the open, I think we can continue.
I think, out of the last few shows, we've already talked about him twice, right? So, and that's where we're going on this one because he is.
But he's the front runner. He's the front runner, Mark. He's the front runner. And what did he do? What did he just do?
He wants to get rid of the 14th Amendment, and he literally believes that it'll stand up in court, that he could take it to court. And the 14th Amendment, for those of you who aren't following this or just don't know about it, it does a number of things. Now, the funny thing is what he's trying to get rid of specifically is that immigrants' children would not have citizenship just by birthright anymore. But
so if you're born in America, you're no longer an American citizen.
Right, but all right, that makes no sense. But here's the thing that nobody's talking about, and somebody needs to be talking about it. That's just a part of the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment is frequently used to defend equal rights. It says no state shall deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. We're talking about him wanting to get rid of the equal protection clause.
The equal protection clause is not a small thing.
No.
That's where you get Roe v. Wade. That's where you get same-sex marriage equality. You get a lot of stuff with the 14th Amendment. Like, the 14th Amendment was ratified in the midst of, slavery and Reconstruction. It was not a small thing to do.
It
big. Basically made slaves citizens. It was the basis for the eventual Voting Rights Act. I mean, come on, people.
The 14th Amendment is
dismantled. The only good thing you've done for people who are, not privileged and powerful.
It's just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, the 14th Amendment gets referenced in cases as big as Brown versus the Board of Education. I mean, we're talking about a massive thing, and they're just kind of flippantly going, nah, I really think we should just get rid of that because I don't want them foreigners to be American citizens.
Of course, and it's a Trojan horse, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's exactly.
Immigration is a dog whistle for a lot of people in the GOP.
Yep.
It's not possible. But if you were to get rid of the Equal Protection Clause, suddenly the Republican Party is able to do whatever they want to do for a very, very long time. And so you're talking about erasing not just the Voting Rights Act, but you're talking about erasing same-sex, marriage equality.
Yep.
If you get rid of the 14th Amendment, you get rid of the precedent involved in a whole swath of very important civil rights issues.
Not just civil rights issue, but workers' rights issue too. I mean, they basically
human rights issues.
Yeah, they are basically, this would be their big thing. If it happened, most of the really crazy crap that they keep trying to push sort of becomes okay constitutionally. Sort of. There's still plenty of other places that say that we're supposed to offer equal rights, but that was kind of the flag in the ground that said, this is it. No more playing around with this.
It's mind-boggling to think about that because you're exactly right. Everybody's been talking about immigration on this, and that's not unimportant. That's not unimportant.
And let's also say that this is not just some crazy idea that the possible candidates are floating out there just to get attention. There's actually a bill right now in front of the House, the Birthright Citizenship Act of 2015, that's trying to do exactly that, trying to get rid of this.
Yeah, you start chipping away at something like the 14th Amendment, and you've seen this happen. You've seen it happen with the Voting Rights Act. You begin to chip away at it and chip away at it and chip away at it until it's meaningless and it loses all power. Right. We've already seen the Voting Rights Act, particularly in North Carolina and throughout the country, be so chipped away that it's almost meaningless.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing: the folks the political folks who most push this are the exact same ones who just a few days ago were out in front of some Capitol building in D.C. on their knees praying and trying to show how Christian they are. Right. I mean, and how ridiculous is it that people who follow an immigrant king, a person who was cast out of his own land as a child, that they have issues with immigration?
Jesus lived in Roman occupied territory. He was not a Roman citizen. He was not afforded any of the rights that Roman citizens like Paul would have been afforded.
Exactly.
And so here you have someone, our Savior, our Lord, our King, or however you want to describe him.
Absolutely.
As like the guy who founded the Christian religion, basically. Right. Or it wasn't intended to find the Christian. We could get it. Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying.
You've got him basically in this position where everything that the 14th Amendment has come to stand for and been used for, getting rid of that stuff basically would undercut the identity of who we understand Jesus to be and how we relate to him. Like, I don't think you can legitimately say you follow Jesus and that you love Jesus, and in a country that would afford protection as someone like Jesus say, never mind, we don't really like that. Like, it's a deliberate, it's a deliberate insult in a way. To the kinds of teachings that Jesus stood for, the kind of things that Jesus talked about and taught in his mission and ministry in Roman occupied Palestine. To say we're no longer going to care about this stuff, I think, is to say you're no longer going to care about Jesus, to no longer care about the Christian faith. I mean, it can be dicey to combine politics and religion, but this is, I think, something that's very clear. In my opinion.
Well, I don't think it is. I mean,
if you're getting rid of protections of people who have been oppressed and who have been marginalized, then you're getting rid of the very foundation of the things that Jesus taught and stood for.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think it's dicey to combine religion and politics when you're out front saying, I am this great Christian, but then you're not practicing. If you want to go and claim you're a Christian and hope that people will vote for you based on that, then I have zero problem with calling you out, because Jesus had zero problem with calling out the Sadducees and Pharisees, who were political figures.
Right. I mean, it's not to say that we're a Christian nation, but I'm a Christian.
No, not at all.
About my politics. The 14th Amendment is not a Christian amendment in the Constitution.
Obviously not.
But there's values within that are definitely reflective of who Jesus is and what Jesus taught. And
Exactly. And so if you're going to stand up and shout, "I'm Christian, vote for me," then expect to get called out on it. You know, you're going to get called out.
We're the party of God, which is essentially how the Republican Party is this up. We're the party of God. What you're saying God stands for is the oppression of the marginalized, the oppression of minorities, and the disenfranchisement of everybody but the wealthiest. And
what you're doing is making a joke of the gospel if you do that. And so, I mean, you are. It's insulting.
You're turning the gospel into reality.
You know what you're turning the gospel into reality television, because you're not taking the real truth. You're trying to splice it together in a way that tells the story you want. And you know what that's actually called biblically? Using God's name in vain. It is. It's
reality televisionization of the Gospels.
Yeah, I don't think you just created a catchphrase there. I think I'm pretty sure just the fact that you couldn't get it out of your mouth. I think that we're probably not going to see that one going very far.
Are you saying that should not be our hashtag game?
I don't know. I tell you what, why don't we just stop right there and see in round 3 if maybe it will be. Who knows?
Moonshine Jesus. Moonshine Jesus. Moonshine Jesus. Moonshine Jesus. Won't you shine a light?
Hello and welcome welcome back to round 3 of the Moonshine Jesus Show. We were just talking about the most eloquent thing I've probably ever said, and that's the reality televisionization of the gospel.
It's too bad you didn't say it eloquently, though. It might be the most eloquent thing you've ever talked
about. Up a word on the spot to have it come out right the first time. I mean, imagine if Dr. Seuss had to go with the first, draft of Green Eggs and Ham.
I loved your word. I sort of I didn't love your word. It was a little but unfortunately, as a hashtag, I think that once you put it in, you'd be out of your 140 characters.
No, and most people would probably spell it differently than everybody else, so there'd be no way to actually track things. So, but I think the idea itself might have might have some possibilities.
No, I'm with you. I think it's really pretty hysterical to think about.
Reality TV Jesus.
Reality TV Jesus. Perfect. That's the hashtag right there. Reality TV Jesus, where you can take imagine that you are the producer and the director and the editor of the reality TV show of the Gospels. And
absolutely.
How do you re-slice it? What stories do you retell in different, like parables, in new ways, or sayings of Jesus in reality TV ways,
or fitting Jesus' life into an existing reality TV show like The Amazing Race, when he travels over to the Syrophoenicia and all this other kind of stuff. They're like, oh, he went to the other side of Galilee, The Amazing Race. You had to find clues. I mean, there's tons.
Or hey, Jesus on America's Got Talent, turning water into wine.
Or the parable of the prodigal son recast with it. I mean, come on.
Recast and retold.
Right? That's drama.
I absolutely love it. I think our listeners are so freaking creative. I want us to stop talking really quickly because I want to get this out there because I want to see what they're going to do with it.
I'm just suddenly imagining all the parables in a reality television format, and it's really entertaining.
Yeah, it really is.
Anyway, okay, so I feel like we have covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about we've covered 2 decades. We've covered
at least 2 decades
in the real world all the way to Donald Trump, and it's a pretty seamless line.
It's frighteningly seamless.
And perhaps
in some ways it feels like no time's passed at all.
I mean, imagine we could have a straight, seamless cultural line from Puck on the Real World to the President of the United States.
Puck to Trump.
Puck to Trump. Anyway, so I feel like maybe we should leave it there with that mental image of Puck being our president, and just let people coast and relax on some Freddie Fry.
Go to heaven, your liver to hell. Your mind can't believe that they planned this so well. that is the way to get us to give up our souls every day.
Yeah.